Hi, I'm Juju. Hi, I'm Skitters. And you're watching Is It Scary, Wisconsin?
Hello, everyone. My name is Justin, and I'm joined here tonight by my girlfriend Lynn, my best friend Gage, and his girlfriend Jenna. And tonight we are discussing Green Bay Fears Revenge of the 80s Part 2 that took place last weekend and, of course, coming up again this weekend. The question everybody wants the answer to is, should they go? Is it worth their time? Is it scary? Is it worth their money? How are the production values? Etc., etc., etc. And we are joined here tonight by a special guest, of course, my girlfriend Lynn. Lynn, you had a chance to come along with us.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts? We got to the ticket booth, we got our tickets, and we started walking up. What were your thoughts just kind of walking up to the event?
They had the atmosphere already set up. They had a little bit of I think there's a little bit of the fog already happening, and somebody jumping out at you, just kind of getting you geared up. The 80s feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Characters.
For sure. So you kind of mentioned the costumes, you mentioned the look, all that good stuff. What were your thoughts on the costumes overall at the event?
I really liked them. They were, a lot of them were from like the 80s type of camping. They didn't go into like doing Michael or Myers or Jason Voorhees, but they gave you the impression of those types.
Which is fine, 'cause that's overdone anyways.
Yeah, they are overdone.
Every haunt does that. That's boring. It was actually kind of nice to see some different costumes from maybe some different horror movies that like aren't as, I would say, mainstream.
He'll Have Eyes. I mean, that's where,
Yeah. That you mentioned at one point to me, you mentioned The Strangers.
The Strangers, yeah, I think the guy with the burlap.
Yeah.
Like The Strangers or something.
So the night starts off with a walk through the Mr. Jingles Funhouse. What were your thoughts on the crew working the funhouse and the funhouse itself?
I love the clowns. Those two up front were very animated, very good at what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. It's like that was how they are in real life, except they were just able to really push it in front of people now.
Yeah. So
that was their personality.
So we finish up there. We come along to a little showcase with some clowning around, with some nice jokes. Looks like we had a Carrie on display and a few other characters on display. What did you kind of think about some of the costumes there, some of the characters we encountered there?
They were all really good costumes. I mean, the Carrie, you knew it was Carrie from the movie.
Absolutely.
And if you didn't, I mean, I don't know, you were under a rock.
Yeah, you can't help them on that one. So what about the, so Lynn, we went through, you and I went through with the group together 3 different times. What were your thoughts going through the woods as the night went on? The fog got thicker. It became harder to spot the actors. What were your kind of thoughts on that as we were going through?
The more dark it got, the better it got.
Yeah.
Because it looked more spooky. The atmosphere was more ominous.
Yeah.
And the fog really did have you kind of confused on the inside. I'm not good with directions, but that fog can really throw you off.
Yeah, for sure. So, to anybody wondering, is this something that I should go experience? Is this something that I should go to? Would you recommend that they go check something like this out later in the night?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, later in the night for sure.
Awesome.
Once the sun goes down, it's a great. Yeah, it was one of the best ones I've seen so far.
Very cool. Very cool. I actually share a similar sentiment to you on that one. I'll explain that later in the video. But overall, Lynn, how did you feel about the event that we went to?
Worth every penny. They did above and beyond, especially for something that's in the summer. They really cared about what they were doing, and they put a lot of effort. And the characters were very on point and knew what they were doing, and very active with you. And they didn't care if they saw you walking through again. They still did the same thing. I mean, some of them might have changed up what they were saying, but they still stayed in character. Very
good, very good. So, again, Green Bay Fears Revenge of the 80s Part 2. We went on the unlimited pass, or Yeah, on the unlimited pass, which was a
Yes.
little bit more expensive, but it lets you go as many times as you want on that night. Lynn, what do you think about the concept of a unlimited pass like that?
I think it's a good idea if you want to go through, if you have a big group of people and you want to all go through together and then kind of like let everybody go first, kind of like what we did,
Yeah,
to give everybody that experience because where you're standing is going to give you a different experience
for sure. For
in the
sure.
area.
Lynn, final thoughts on Revenge of the 80s Part 2?
I loved it. I think people should go see it. Definitely do it when it's dark outside. I'm not saying, if it's dusk, it shouldn't, but it's definitely a lot better, I think, at night because it gives it a better feel to it. And now it'll be a little bit cooler out.
Well, Lynn, I know you're busy, so thank you for taking
I
time out.
am.
Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us and for being a part of the review.
You're
And
welcome.
we'll-
It was worth it.
Yep.
Tons of obligations to take care of.
All right. Thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you. Bye. Have fun.
All right, guys, let's talk about it. Green Bay Fears Revenge of the 80s Part 2. I know, Gage, you and I have kind of talked about this behind the scenes a little bit. Jenna, I'm sure you have some thoughts on it. I want to get the discussion rolling tonight. Scene, sound, scares. If we're looking at scenery, if we're talking about scenery, one thing I got to point out right away. They stepped the trail up. I'm sorry. They stepped the walk up to the Midway area, like that opening trail. They really, when we come around that corner, we saw that new structure looming right between us and the Midway. That kind of set a different pace than we're probably used to seeing. And I remember it getting some good reactions out of Jenna, and that in turn got a good reaction out of Gage. And even Lynn and I, we were kind of walking up there. I'm like, Lynn, get up there, go experience it. Don't stand around back here by me. Go, see it. I'm pretty sure I knew what it was gonna be. I knew they'd get you from the side or whatever they would do, but it got us in like it put us into like this fun mode, right? Jenna was giddy. She was hanging on Gage. No, and it was like, Gage was smiling, you come back with my dude, they got Jenna's all excited, come running back by me. And it's like, so when I see stuff like that, that proves right there what Gage and I have been talking about this whole time on this channel. And with a little change, with a little effort, with a little bit of new, you can create such a different atmosphere at the same attraction. It was good. And I appreciated that right away, right on that trail. Come around the corner, I'm like, this wasn't here last year. This is different. This is exciting. Then that got me checking my sides. Somebody could come from the side. It was very, very good. And it really set a nice initial pace. Gage, Jenna, your thoughts. Take it away. I'm done talking.
Going into there, I was totally expecting, okay, here's a kill scene in the woods right beside me, because they had that last year. So I was kind of expecting it, and I thought that wasn't bad. I was really looking forward to seeing a little kill scene because they did forward. Normally don't do it. They just don't even worry about that whole walk section. But when I first saw that little hut, that little walkthrough area, I did get excited. I was like a child looking at my toys on Christmas morning. That was it really, you captured the moment well by me getting all giddy and shit.
Nice comparison, by the way, Gage. It was really good. I like to give you credit where it's due.
I looked back at you and I'm like, look at what they did. Look at what they did. Even though obviously you can see it, but I'm like, look at it. Fucking look at it.
Yeah.
But it was a nice little introduction. I don't want to go into much because if someone hasn't seen it yet, I want them to check it out. It's a nice little appetizer for what's to come.
Yeah.
Jenna.
It's unexpected because just walking up to it because you don't know what's going to happen. I slowed down a lot once I saw it because I didn't want to go in there first. I'm like, Gage, I need help. I don't know if I could do it.
I think to be fair, because we've seen Green Bay Fear so many times now. Even as new as you were 2 years ago, you've been through that 4, 5, 6 times now. You know what to expect. And when they hit you with that unexpected, right out of the gate, that sets a pace, Jenna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I didn't know what to expect, and they got me right away. So that's set the tone with everything when it was.
Good. Good. So what did you guys think about the midway, the actors, the theming? You know, uh,
Sure.
I
Sure.
I like this theme.
oh, me too, absolutely.
I want to go ahead and make a.
Go ahead.
I just want to make a statement here that I don't think we'll really touch on, but I want to say credit where it's due when it came to the icon for Green Bay Fear Presents Revenge of the '80s Part 2. Because I never really noticed it, but when you look at the icon with the icon actually kind of centers on what exactly the what the haunt consists of. I never noticed it until I was working a thumbnail for this video that we're gonna go up. I'm like, oh my god, they got like little Easter eggs to tell you what's coming up. I just want to say it out there. Whoever made that art, I really I appreciate it. It looked cool, and like noticing it, I was picking on the little Easter eggs that they had in there. You guys might need to look at it, but you see what I mean. I saw it. I want to say nice job on that. Whoever did it, nice job.
So
Continue.
I wanted to point this out quick too. When we were at the ticket booth, the guy in the burlap mask, the guy allegedly from The Strangers, came and just kind of stood like 10 yards behind us. He just stood there. In the movie The Strangers, that's what they do. This is exactly what they do. They just stand there, stare at you. So that was perfectly in character. And when Lynn said that, oh, I think it's from The Strangers, I was like, oh shit, yeah, it is, because this is exactly what happened in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta give credit there too, and I wanted to call that out in case I forgot to later on.
That and even the staff was dressed up in kind of 80s aesthetic clothing, as well as the scare givers. I don't really know what to really call them,
Yeah.
but just the actors. I mean, I don't know why that word left my mind, but the actors out there, they fit the theme, and they're even playing 80s music while they're doing it. So
That's nice. That's really nice. So what did you guys think? First of all, I love the crew in Mr. Jingle's Funhouse. I like that they mess with us. I like that they joke around. Very, very grateful that they gave us the nice intro for this video, which hopefully I'll remember to edit in. And I thought that was super neat how they worked the Funhouse. Looks like they had a little bit different path through there. And I enjoyed it. They had 2 people working the Funhouse. You wouldn't know it. Those guys were all over the place. It was awesome.
I genuinely thought
Very
there were
excellent.
3 people there at one point. I swear how they played that. I thought there was at least a third person. I kept looking for them, but I mean, there probably wasn't. And we're not just going to go ahead and gloss over the fact that Juju scared the shit out of me going up to
Anyway.
it. He got me good. I was not ready for that one,
Yeah.
and that was a very good scare. I haven't been scared like that in a while. Again, granted, maybe it's because it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been through a haunt, but that was a good one.
Yeah, overall scare rating's about 120. It's just been a while since I've been scared. Yeah, I enjoyed the Funhouse. I thought the guys worked it great. A+ in that section, obviously. We gave our thoughts on that earlier in the season. But the scenery in there is awesome. They built that. They built that so good.
And they mix it up.
Yeah, they do. And you
They
can't.
mix it up and change some of the color. They finally got rid, and I'm going to say it, but they finally got rid of that fog room. Because the problem is, I knew exactly where to go. I mean, it's still the same structure of a room, but it's not just a fog room. It's something you actually have to walk through now. So I just want to say I'm glad they did change that up.
Yeah, you can definitely tell they made some modifications in there. The scenery that they're working with is awesome. It's very hard to see their trapdoors. They do have trapdoors that those guys work through and that they work around the house in. But you can't tell. The scenery is done so well. And I was super impressed by the way it looks in there. They got a nice, fun atmosphere. Yeah, like I said, scenery on that. If I got to give a scenery score on Mr. Jiggles Funhouse, I mean, a 90, 95.
Yeah, thoughts?
Yeah, it's just fun. Jenna.
They keep energy up the whole time too. And as we kept going, because we got there fairly early, but as we kept going through, the line for that kept getting longer and longer. And they're letting people in small groups. So just imagine how many times they had to go through the routine, but each time it's still just as good. And they keep their energy up and they don't skimp on the scares. They're just really good at what they do, and that sets
Why?
the tone for
Why
the
do
rest
you?
of it.
Why do you think those guys are in such good shape? You have to be.
Exactly.
I have
Because
a.
they're every which where.
Yeah, yeah. I have a lady who comes in my place of business, and her and I were talking about it, and she said that's all those guys do. They eat, sleep, and breathe.
It's been
their
the
house.
same guys
I mean,
since
they take it really
Jesus
seriously.
2015 when
At
we went,
least, yeah. I mean, those guys are
something like
hardcore.
that.
Those guys are super committed to it. I've literally never gone through the funhouse and been like, oh, that kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna make a note to mention it when I do. But I've never walked through that funhouse and been like, that kind of sucked. One lady told
It's
me
always good.
the
It's
one lady
always
told me
fun.
they ran that over 300 times in one night.
I
Oh.
believe it.
Yeah.
So
So
now, are we divvying up the scores
just do
for?
whatever.
I mean, it's just two things.
Say whatever you want. Like I said, scenery in the scenery in the funhouse. I'm a 90, 95 on it. Looked great. It was fun to go through all 3 times. I noticed something different each time when I went through. It was exciting and it was
Sure.
entertaining.
I'd have
And
to.
it's not too loud. Like the sounds are pretty good. They have the music going and they have some other elements in there, but it's not a constant drill or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like walking into a burial chamber.
I'm gonna fuck your face.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
you're
like
right. You're
I
right.
can't hear the scares.
Yeah, I'd rather
It's like
be
a
scared.
fun rave
Yeah.
every time you walk in there.
If I had to give it scenery, now I'd have to give it like an 80. Does it look fantastic? Yes. I'm only for scenery. I'm only giving an 80 because I can still kind of mentally plot the course after how many times I've been through it. It just I feel like I know where I'm going half the time we're going through it, but still, did they mix up the way it looks? I loved it. It looked great. They really did change up some of the colors. You could tell they put a lot of effort into the final room as opposed to being just one big black room. They actually put some designs on the walls in some other areas. And also scenery. Another big part of scenery is safety. And I want to mention that as we're going through it, I noticed they had some paddings on some lower hanging
that was nice.
like inclines. So that's always nice. And they're always looking out for you, and safety is very important. I think safety also coincides with scenery. Did I say 80? I'd say an 85, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's fair.
Jenna?
You'd have to like flip it totally around for me to get 100 on that one. It has to be a completely new thing for me to be holy shit, But that would be for me.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. It is kind of similar to how it's been the other times that we're in there,
Mm-hmm.
but I love it every single year.
Yep.
And I don't care that it looks similar because it's what I expect, but it's also what I know is going to be fun every single time.
But that unexpected is what makes it really
I give
scary.
Scenery 90.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue. I thought you were done.
You're judging scenery, not scares right now.
Sure. Yeah. They go with them. Continue. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
Okay. Sounds, I'd say 90.
I'm right there with you on
Fun,
that.
definitely. Yeah. Fun, 95. Always very fun. I love it. I walk in there dancing because I'm so excited.
Yep.
Scares, I'd say 70. I got scared, but it wasn't like the
You
most
weren't like
terrifying thing I've
running
ever
for your
watched.
life out of there, yeah.
No, no.
They didn't put you in a burlap sack, drag you
I
to a
got
field,
scared.
and like throw you in the back of a truck or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm at 90 on the sounds while we're here. You know, we may as well just break it down from top to bottom anyway.
Right.
Well, because we're probably not going to come back to the funhouse after this anyway. Yeah, I'm a 90 on the sounds, and on the scares, I'm a 70, 75. I kind of ruined probably the best scare they would have ever had for me. I literally like closed my eyes for a moment when I came around the corner, and when I opened my eyes, the dude was like right in my face. And had I had my eyes open the whole time, I probably would have pissed myself. Uh, I I have to give them a shout out for that. They did a great job, and I screwed it up. That was my own fault. I just really bad timing, but man, I mean those guys were on point. But like I said, 70, 75 on scares. It was good. The sounds were awesome. Again, it's not so glaring that you can't enjoy yourself. Scenery was solid. Mr. Jingle's Funhouse is always a blast, and it's one of the attractions I look forward to the most at Green Bay Fair.
For sounds, I have to say it's a perfect 100 for me. And I say this because they blend they blend the sounds perfectly to where it's not too loud, but it's not too quiet. They have it at just that right volume. It's whatever is that Little Red Riding Hood story or whatever the hell it is.
Baby Bear.
Sure, yeah, Baby Bear. So just the porridge is just right, is what I mean to say. The porridge is just right when it comes to that sound. And it doesn't drown out any scares. That's great. 100 on those sounds. If I have to say, I already said scenery. Fun is, I mean, yes, it's always fun. I've never gone to that haunt. I mean, that section of the haunt, and I was like, I'm not looking forward to this. I'm a big tough military guy. This shit never scares me. I'd never go in it that way. It's always a great time.
Well, look at how
and it's
I
always
did
a
that.
blast.
Look at how I did that video, and that stuck with us.
It's iconic.
Like, oh, big dumb military guy, I'm afraid of shit. Like, dude, it stuck with us because there is a stereotypical person that acts like that.
There is, and I know the haunt community has a whole bunch of videos about the type of people that go through a haunt, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
And when it comes to scary, I'd have to give it a 70. No, that's not fair. They got me really good at the beginning. I'd have to give it a 75.
Yeah.
Jenna, what did you give it?
70.
70? Okay, all right. They got me good, so I'd say 75 on that one.
They got
I can tell they really didn't really go after and try to scare me most of the time here, but I get it because Jenna was a really easy target. So yeah, 75 for me on scares. I think I covered all bases. Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's move on. We're gonna talk about the walk through the woods.
Walk through the woods.
Was
Let's
nice. And it was a
Let's-
nice change. And they kind of singled me out a little bit. I don't like being alone. I'm afraid of the dark. And they held me back the first time we went through, and they didn't let me catch up to you guys right away. So I'm going through, and I'm trying to go through this, like come around the corner and go through this hut, and this dude comes barreling out of it right in my face. He's like, "Go that way." I'm like, "Holy shit." Okay. So I go around the corner, and this other dude gets me, and this other guy, typical corner shot fare, and it was fine. And then I caught up to you guys. I'm like, oh, thank God. And as I'm catching up to you guys, this other dude comes like screaming out the corner. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, let me just get back with my group. I'm afraid of the dark. I don't like being alone. Get out of my face. It was good, right? The actors were there. And there were some actors that were out there kind of telling their story, The one girl's up on her soapbox up top preaching at us as we walk by. She's always good. And then we had the one dying person in the woods. Had a couple sound scares along the way, it was good, right? Like, it was good. And they had some really cool scenery in the woods. Like, I thought that was one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. I feel like they could make way scarier use of it, but probably because it's 80s movies themed, That's why they did it the way they did it, which is fine. All I'm going to say is aliens. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't really want to spoil that too much. It was cool. I didn't even know what that was the first time we went through. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, is that burning? What? And then, like, I saw these. I'm like, why are these characters dressed up as aliens? What the hell? I'm like, that's stupid. So the first time I went through, I was kind of, oh, that's kind of dumb. And I went through the rest of it, and the graveyard was good, you know, it was nice. Good jump scares and some nice kill scenes. You know, we talked about that, Gage. And we come around to the pirates and the weird
Hillbilly.
dude, the weird hillbilly dude in the woods. He's freaking awesome every time. And we come around a second time. And the second time we come through, I stopped and I was like, what the hell is that? And Lynn said, oh, Boo Bear, that's and she tells me what it is. And I was like, oh my God, now it all makes sense. It's those stupid 1980s horror movies with the aliens in them. And I felt so dumb that I couldn't appreciate that on the first walkthrough. But it was one of the coolest things they've added in a long time. And they had nice character story leading up to it. Sure, it didn't scare me. Not at all. But it was really cool and creative. Dare I say, the best work they've done on that trail in a long time. I liked it a lot. And I want to make sure they get the credit they deserve for it. Was it, 100 out of 100 scary? No. But I'm really happy to give a 95 rating for scenery on the trail. Told a great story. Had some nice twists and turns. Actor work was good. I liked it. It's awesome. And the fog was bitchin'. The fog was fantastic. It was the best effect they've done there. It made the trail super creepy. And I think they should do that during regular season too. I think if they don't have fog like that during the regular hunt, I think they're missing out. Go ahead, that's all I got. Scenery's a 95.
If you're gonna go through this hunt, because 95% of it's outdoors. Lynn touched on this earlier. Go at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was going through it, now we went at crack ass of day pretty much, and it was a week before winter solstice, so it was gonna be bright for most of the time we're there.
8:45.
Summer solstice, my bad. I was just able to pinpoint all these actors around corners and stuff. I'm always looking. You can't really hide from me. I'm gonna look for you, and if you hide from me and you actually get me, good job. Nice job, Juju. So when it comes to that, go at night. Just do yourself a favor and go at night. And the bad thing is, a lot of people were, because when you left, we went through a fourth time and it was actually pretty dark. We had to wait, Justin. We actually had to wait. There were some people actually there. So
good. I'm glad they deserve the business for this. It was a great show.
They do. People know to go at night. So going through it initially, I do like how they kind of set it up. You got everyone on their little boxes. It's almost like a museum, like an interactable museum of a sort. It's kind of the best way to put it. But then a movie theater. I kind of got both vibes. Because you got the carry, you got. I think I was supposed to see a Rob Zombie impression with who was Mr. Jangles. That was Rob Zombie, and there was the monkey and the other guy. That was pretty cool. Walking up to it, I'm glad to see that they had the different themes there from the different haunts. I can't talk right now. I'm tired as shit. The different actors or characters from whatever series. Scenery. They did a banging job. It has to be, I'd almost say a 95 on this, because they mixed every character with its kind of theme, and they didn't really go ahead and do the Michael Myers, the Jason, all that stuff, because that's always overdone, and it's shit. I'm so glad they didn't do it, and it's fantastic. They touched on different things, and they even had that cute, like, I don't want to say it, but you guys know what I'm talking about when you go through the house, and they had that one actor in that one costume. I loved that. That was cute. And it was like a little comedic relief going through the haunt. When it comes to scenery, that's a 95. It's got to, and especially the thing that you were touching on, Justin. That is something that needs to be brought up. Great
Some of their best
fucking
work.
job.
Some of their best scenery work. Jenna. Scenery. Woods. Green Bay Fear. Part 2.
Like I was in an 80s movie.
You're supposed to. That's the point.
I know. It was so cool.
Yep.
Because you felt like a character in the movie, not just a spectator watching it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You were immersed in the whole experience, and it was really fun. I'd give the scenery 95, and even the sounds were good, and the whole atmosphere with, as we kept going through, it was getting darker and darker and more hazy and more creepy.
Yep.
It just added to it. And what was nice about getting the unlimited pass is each time you went through, you kind of knew what to expect, but it was still different as far as timing things, or you noticed things differently the second or third time around.
Yep.
That you didn't know was there, or they had actors in a different spot, and it was still really good. So that's what I liked about going through a few times. It wasn't like, oh, I've seen this before, I know what to expect.
Yeah.
No, it was still,
They even switched it up a
different
little
each
bit
time.
on a couple of our different walkthroughs. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds, atmosphere, I'm like an 85, 90 on too. Gauge.
You know, we never touched on actors.
not
I
done
think
it
we've
yet.
got. No, that could be an overall score we're going to do at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds and atmosphere, I'm like an 85 or 90.
Yeah. And for sounds as well, I mean, sounds is almost almost scenery at this point because it plays a big part of what goes on. And with the sounds, they played each area they played the audio according to wherever area you're in. I don't want to, again, it's hard to really give a review and not say spoilers. I want to go into detail, but I don't want to spoil it. But the sounds they have for each room, they executed it perfectly. They did a great job on that. I'd have to say when it came to the sounds for certain rooms, I'd have to say, I wouldn't say rooms, they weren't really rooms. Certain like paths, I would say, were a good solid, I would say 80.
Yeah.
I want to say 80 because I don't know if there were sounds for any other. Some of them were just quiet, crickets and stuff, which, makes sense. You're out in the woods. You don't want to hear a whole lot of sounds. So I would say an 80.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The
Yeah.
sound of silence can be so powerful too.
Yep.
When you're in nature and there's silence, it's more creepy
Absolutely.
because you can hear every little thing and you don't know, is that a squirrel or is that an actor or is that the boogeyman? Like, you have no idea. So that can
Yeah, you
make it even
are.
scarier
You are
than
absolutely
having
right.
background sounds.
Scares. The trail
I was-
the trail was nice. Good pacing. Some jump scares, some character scares, some unexpected scares later in the night. It was nothing wild. It was nothing heart-stopping. 70. I enjoyed it.
Scares, I don't know. Did I really get scared? I don't think I did. Now again, I'm hard to scare, so don't take it and say like, oh, it's not scary. But I didn't really get scared a whole lot. I was more enjoying the scenery and the actor interaction than I was getting scared. So by me saying this, I'm not saying it's not scary, because to someone who's probably gets scared easily, this was probably terrifying. But for me, I'd honestly have to get like a 65. I'd have to give it a 65 there. I love the way it looks. I love actor interaction. It's always fantastic at Green Bay Fear. 65 on scares for me.
I agree with you, Gage. I personally got scared more at the funhouse.
Mm-hmm. Like it's more
And
tight corridors
some
and
of the
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, more like jump scare stuff. Some of the stuff that you see in the woods also, just as you've been through many haunts, you know what things to look for. So sometimes it can be hard for those scares to get you as much
Hmm.
unless you're the first time goer, or you're just really easy to scare. Now, I get it. I'm easy to scare, but sometimes I kind of anticipate things, which
And then
make it
that
a
works
little
you
less
up.
scary. Yeah. Plus, I agree. I was looking at the scenery more. The whole experience as being part of the story was great. And I thought that entertained me way more than any scares.
I'm going to talk about it
So I say
again.
65 for scares too, but it was 100% enjoyable with the scenery, the sounds, and the fun. And the actors were great. They played their roles really well.
We talked about this previously, and then I want to mention it again because I want to make sure that Green Bay Fear obviously uh, hears this multiple times. The Fog was awesome. And it might be that The Fog is an 80s movie. Maybe.
And the fog hides everything.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
That fog effect was A plus, and I sincerely hope that they bring that back during season, because man, did that make it awesome! It was so good. It was so well done. It was awesome.
So,
Actors, yeah, 90. They were great. Didn't really catch any actors off like guard or anything. There's a few places where I think they could add a little boarding or leafage or foliage or something, because I can kind of see an actor in position. And if I see you come around, I shouldn't say that because I saw him coming around the corner. He still scared me when he came after me. I'm like, Jesus
anticipation. It's what you were saying.
Yeah. Sometimes the anticipation is a killer too. But actors are 90. They played their parts so well. Costumes were awesome. The acting was wonderful. And even for as many times as we went through, and as many times as they recognized us coming through, they still stayed in character. They still did their part. They still told their story. It was awesome. Very well done. I was super impressed. They earned a 90 from me on that, and they deserve it. And I will say, since I didn't really say anything yet, yes, it was fun. Yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, I would go again.
He's just tired. He got done after working a long day is all. So that's why you don't see him all crazy and giddy like he normally is. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna fuck around on my phone. I don't care about you. I was talking about you. I said you worked all day.
Actors.
Okay. All right. Totally cold shoulder my ass. When it comes to actors, I'd have to give it a 90. Now, I almost want to say 100. I really do. But there were at some points where, now when I went through my first few initial ones, some of the actors weren't really adamant. Some of them were like, I'm just like, that's it? That's all you got? You gonna do anything else? They just stood there. They lumbered over. Now, maybe they were zombie actors. I maybe that's what was going on there.
Yeah,
But
I noticed a little bit of that too. That's part of the reason I didn't give 100 on my score.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of them were just. I never want to say the word lazy, because they are not lazy. It's a very tiring job. But
Yeah.
I think they just need to get fired up. And I'm right in that case, sir, because when we went around the fourth time, the same people that were going, like when we went through the fourth time, they were fucking crazy. They were like jumped out at me and shit. They were coming after me. I'm like, damn, dude. Where was this energy at the beginning of the haunt when you first started? I get you have to get fired up. You gotta get in the mood for it. I'm personally like that too, especially when it comes to social events. I'm awkward as shit when you first talk to me, but when I warm up to you, I never shut the fuck up. But I wanted to see more of that. So actors, it's gotta get a solid 90. I would have gave 100 if I would have saw more energy. But other than that, the other ones are great. like the stories given when they're given the stories, and they kept talking to us multiple times. They did great. I love those guys. 90%. That's all I'm gonna give them for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 90. I thought they did a great job. I think, Gage, to add to your point, maybe part of what you're thinking of is character development.
Character development. They got a story that they progress
Like
throughout
maybe,
each talk goer.
maybe you're hoping that every single actor has way more of a storyline than what they present with.
I'm not looking for a storyline. I'm just looking for like energy.
Okay,
And
that's
I
fair.
know what Gage is talking about, and I agree with him on it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, go ahead, John. It's your part. Is that it?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Do you have
that
MTV or
So honestly, overall, I mean, I felt like Revenge of the 80s Part 2 was solid.
it was successful. It really was.
Yeah,
It's better than the first part, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Were you there for the first part?
Yeah, I think part of the reason I liked it better is it wasn't freezing cold.
Yeah, it helps.
There was
No,
still
it wasn't-
snow on the ground for the first one.
What are you thinking of? Well, it wasn't snow. That was in June with Revenge of the 80s. The other
The part one was like
part one. Are you talking about the Dead of Spring? That wasn't part one. That was a different thing.
She's new, guys.
then what was the
Cut her
one
some-
of
She's
them?
new.
Cut her some
She's new.
slack, guys. She's new. Don't worry, we're already working on replacing her.
Yeah, I've already looked at a few applicants.
I didn't even
There's
apply for it.
energy you need all day, all review. Damn. But yeah. Hey, actors, I think that's well done. Where do we miss anything else for the trails? I don't think so. I'm just a little sleepy right now, so I could be a little sleepy bear and forget some things.
The show was really good.
The show
If
was.
you're watching the review going, guys, shut the hell up already. Should I go? Yes, you should go. Jenna,
Yes, you should go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great show. For the 25 bucks I
MVP
paid-
actors.
Yeah, we'll get there. For the 25 bucks I paid, I went through 3 times. It was awesome. It's fun as hell. Yeah.
And that was the unlimited pass.
Yeah, that was for the unlimited pass. I'm pretty sure like a one
one-time
walkthrough
through
is
was
like
15.
it's like 15. Yeah, I mean it was a great deal. It was a great time. We really enjoyed it.
Definitely a great deal.
And so anyway, most valuable actor.
What's yours, Jesse? He's thinking.
I'm giving it to Hillbilly Hank. He's awesome. Played along with us. We said some dumb shit. He went right along with it. Didn't care. Bald-headed dude, the hillbilly guy. You know, like he's gonna throw your kneecaps in some soup or something. And I mean, he was top tier, excellent, great time, entertaining. I got to give it to him. It's fantastic.
Mine would have to be Juju. He scared me good. I haven't got scared like that in a while, and I really appreciated it. It really set the mood. I want to say an honorable mention, the Hillbilly as well. I wanted to say him,
Good.
but I got to do credit where it's due, man. Juju got me good because I was not ready for that scare, so that was a good one.
I have 2 that I would like to recognize. One is the actor who would follow you and keep up with the character and like creepy and like whispering or like growling in your ear, and it's just creepy and it adds to it. Like you want to turn around and look, but it's also like there's someone following me. It just adds to the creepiness of it, and it was really fun. And also the really tall actor who would also go on all fours and just like crawl around and just
Towards the end, I know who you're talking about.
catch you off
Yeah.
guard. Yeah. Those
Yeah.
2 in the trail
I
were very good.
I want to bring it up as well. There was one who I think it was a gulp mask, something like that. He stood silently behind me. Now it didn't really scare me, because I was kind of like in a joking mood looking back at you guys. But it was if I was kind of in a little jumpy mood, that would have scared me. That was a really good job. And I know I probably played that perfectly into his hands. his or her hands, but like they did great. I really enjoyed that. I want to say that's another honorable mention. I really got to go to Juju with this one because he scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. Especially as it got darker, that one mask that you were talking about just
Mhm.
it got
It got
harder and harder
creepier
to
and
find
creepier.
the shadow
Mhm.
silhouette.
Yeah, overall, I think Revenge of the Ace Part 2 was a top tier show from Green Bay Fury. You know, Gage, we talked about this. If Green Bay Fury can do shows like this, why can't Terror on the Fox?
You said it. I was gonna say it,
You know,
but I didn't want to throw
I don't care.
shade.
I already have a target on my back from those guys, so I'll just say it. Green Bay Fear is a volunteer hunt, from what I've heard. The crew at Green Bay Fear is all volunteer, from what I've heard. So why can't Terror on the Fox do a show like this? Because this was better than anything they've done in years. So why can't Terror on the Fox do something like this? I don't care. I have a target on my back. I don't care.
You guys want to know what I said walking up to the very first new thing?
That's
I'm
exactly what you said.
I said, if Green Bay Fury can do this, why not Terror on the Fox? I know they can. They have the creativity to do it. But this isn't a Terror on the Fox
money and
review.
ability to do it. But Gage,
They have the mind.
You made a good point, right? Look at the spirit and the energy at Green Bay Fear, dude. And it's not owned by a corporate entity. That's all I have to say about it. I don't want to get stuck on it. It's going to just piss me off more.
And we're going to go on and on. And this isn't about Terror on the Fox. This is about Green Bay Fear. And if
Revenge
you
of
should
the
go,
80s Part 2.
yes, you should.
Go? Yes, you should. Get over there and check it out. They deserve it. Show them some love and support. Let them know the crew over at Is It Scary Wisconsin sent you. Comment down below. Let us know what you thought if you attended the show. If you're an actor or someone over there at Green Bay Fear. Thank you for an awesome show. I'm Justin with This Is Scary Wisconsin, joined here by my best friend Gage, his girlfriend Jenna, previously by my girlfriend Lynn. And Gage, there's really one question that people are here for. The answer to?
Is it scary, Wisconsin?
You tell us your thoughts in the comments below, and we will see you right here next time. Jenna.
Have a good night.